Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Beth, here to help you fulfill your potential in meditation. As most of you know, I don't have just one method that I teach to everybody, like one size fits all. Instead, I much prefer to teach people one-on-one. And the reason is that you're all different. So please use these videos as a guideline, and if there's anything that isn't quite working for you or anything that doesn't quite fit, then be in touch and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. Today's video is about learning to discern the 12 links of dependent origination in backwards order. Now, in order to do this practice, we should already be familiar with discerning the 12 links of dependent origination in forwards order. I've made a separate video about doing that practice, so if you haven't done so already, I'd suggest that you go away and watch that video and do the practice if possible, so that this one will be nice and clear to you. Now, if you are familiar with discerning those 12 links of dependent origination in forwards order, you will remember that there are some building blocks that we need in order to do that practice. And we need those building blocks also to do the practice in backwards order. Specifically, we want to be familiar with the Abhisankara for 5 or 6 past lives and 5 or 6 future lives. You'll remember that the Abhisankara is the action that we do in a lifetime that produces the next lifetime. And so we want to have found that action for 5 or 6 past lives and 5 or 6 future lives, or until the future lives stop, because if we're lucky, we might not be having 5 or 6 future lives. Once we've found the Abhisankara for those 5 or 6 past lives and 5 or 6 future lives, and once we're already familiar with the 12 links of dependent origination, then we're ready to do this practice of discerning those 12 links in backwards order. So, where do we start? Well, we want to start in the future and as far forwards as we can go. So that could be, let's say, the 6th future life, or it could be our last future life if we don't have 6. So we start in that future life with the last link of dependent origination, the suffering. And we can ask ourselves, well, what is the cause? What is the conditioning for the suffering in this life? It is the birth moment of that life. What is the cause? What is the condition for the birth moment in that life? Well, it's the existence of karma, bhava, in the previous life. What's the cause or the condition for that bhava? It's the clinging, and so on. We can work our way back through the 12 links of dependent origination. We can then do the same thing, starting with the suffering in the 5th future life. And we can work our way back through the 12 links of dependent origination in the same way. We can then start with the 4th future life, the 3rd, the 2nd, the 1st, this life, and we can then start with our past lives, starting with the suffering in the 1st past life. The cause for that is the birth of that 1st past life. The cause for that is the Abhisankara of the preceding life, and so on, working our way backwards through those 12 links of dependent origination. We can work our way all the way back to the 5th or the 6th past life. Now, when we start doing this practice, at first it might be a little bit slow, it might be a little bit clunky as we get familiar with discerning all of these different causal links. But we should do this practice repeatedly, again and again, until our discernment starts to become fluid and we can work backwards through these 12 links of dependent origination fluently and quickly and confidently. So that's what I have to say today about discerning the 12 links of dependent origination in backwards order. If there's anything that's unclear to you, anything that's not working, then be in touch with me and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. But now is the time to get off of those screens, get onto the cushions and actually do the practice. There is so many fascinating aspects of this practice of meditation. Moreover, they lead to the remainderless ending of all suffering. So let's not waste time. Let's actually do the practice. As most of you know, I do all of my work on a donation basis. So I encourage you to support me either through Patreon or through my website so that I can continue to make these videos. Thank you so much for your support. Wishing you the best with your meditation.